Going on a vacation, the first thing that we usually need is the local cash. But what's the best way to do this? Exchange money at your home country's bank? Exchange at the airport? Or just swipe the credit card through your stay? The options are many. And depending on the option you choose, it is possible to save or waste a good chunk of the amount of money that you will spend. This is true especially if you live in the country for long term. So today, I will talk about my research of the best method to exchanging your money to yen. The results I have should be useful for both those who are visiting Japan for a vacation, as well as those that live here long term. So let's get into it. Starting with the most conventional option, taking your dollars, euros or whatevers and exchanging them for yen at a bank. Let's see if this is a good option, whether you use your home country's bank or a bank in Japan. Because I'm from Finland, I first looked at some Finnish banks and exchange services which ranged from Nordea Bank offering a 1.7% fee to OP Bank with 7.3% and Forex.fi with a hefty 7.5% fee. First I want to show you how I calculated these percentage discrepancies. From now on, I'm just gonna call them fees. So first, I took a look at what the so-called middle exchange rate was at the time from the xe.com website. This is the so-called real exchange rate, which of course we can't have because banks always take their cut by adding a margin. Then I subtracted the bank rate from this and divided by the original middle rate and multiplied by 100 to make this into percentage. If you want to see the full logic behind this calculation, the link is in the description. Next, looking at banks in Japan, the fee was about 3%, but what surprised me was that the exchange rate at the Narita Airport exchange counter was only 2.6%, making it cheaper than the banks. With the dawn of credit cards, many travelers have noticed that carrying a plastic thingy in your pocket can sometimes get you all things you need to buy. Unfortunately, Japan is still somewhat of an exception, as it is still a country where cash is the king. If you plan to hang around big cities, it is very possible that you can make do with just your credit card. But take a step outside the city, or just go to some kind of Granny Cooks type of restaurant, and your card will be no good. But the question is, if you can pay with your card, should you? When I first moved to Japan, I was naive to think that, hey, if I can pay with my MasterCard, that means I don't have to send money from Finland, so no exchange fees. Boy, was I wrong. Basically, this is how it goes. When I first make a payment in Japan with the MasterCard, the invoice to the MasterCard comes in yen, which they then transfer to euros using their own daily currency exchange rates for that time. And they then add a margin of up to 1.95%. So when I calculated the exchange rate fee from purchase to purchase, I couldn't get a consistent percentage. Sometimes it would be 2% and other times 4%, which means that using a MasterCard or any other credit card probably can be more expensive than just exchanging at the bank or exchange counter. But what if you live in Japan? We now know that credit cards are not a cheap option. And when you first come to Japan, you probably didn't bring a suitcase full of your country's currency. This is where bank wires come in. Bank wires have generally been the go-to method when sending money from your country to Japan, or any other country for that matter. Saying that, I still have never been satisfied with the way the whole thing happens. I will give you an example of how the transaction has been happening with my Finnish bank and my Japanese bank. So first, I make a remittance order from my Finnish bank, for which they take a processing fee of about 7 euros. Then, after waiting usually 3 to 7 business days, the money that I sent in euros have been deposited to my Japanese bank account, with first 4,000 yen processing fee subtracted and added to that a 0.05% lifting fee, and further subtracting the conversion fee of about 0.5%. So the total so-called transaction fee adds up to about 1.8%, which doesn't sound like much, but if you send money regularly or large sums, it's going to add up. Those who have heard of TransferWise know what I'm talking about, but for those who haven't, it's basically a service that does the remittance for you. You make the transferring order online, send the required amount to them, and they do the rest. I should probably also add that TransferWise, or no one else for that matter, has sponsored this episode, but it is purely my own opinions and experiences I'm talking about. So, I did use TransferWise to send money from my Finnish bank to Japan, and it actually took only 2 days to get the funds. The overall transaction fee was only 0.5%, making it a really attractive option to send money instead of the banks. Anyone who has looked into cryptocurrencies probably have heard the usual pitches about the benefits of crypto. It's borderless, anonymous, and instant. And while I can't argue with these concepts, when it comes to sending money from fiat to fiat through crypto, it wasn't as convenient as I thought it would be. So basically, this is how the process happened. Send money from my Finnish bank to my crypto exchange that operates in Finland. Buy Bitcoin on the crypto exchange, send the Bitcoin to my crypto exchange that operates in Japan, and after receiving the Bitcoin, sell it for Japanese yen on the crypto exchange. And lastly, I received the money to my Japanese bank account. Overall, the process took about 4 days and the transaction fee totaled to a painful 7.7%, which is almost all the fault of the crypto exchange that took a service fee of 7% to exchange from euros to Bitcoin. So overall, this could be a viable option if you can find a crypto exchange that doesn't rob you. So, these were the methods I researched and tried myself. And if I had to recommend the best method, I would recommend TransferWise for those that have a Japanese bank account. And for those visiting for a vacation or such, find the cheapest exchange rate, whether it's your local bank or an exchange counter at the airport. You can use the internet to research and calculate the exchange fee in advance and then be able to choose the cheapest option. That is all for this episode. Always do your own research with anything regarding money, and I will see you on the next video.